Welcome to episode 315 of Some Shit We Like. I'm Mike, and this is Rick, and we are once again joined by Bryce's replacement, James. James Redwine. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Yeah?
Glad to be back.
Awesome. I'm glad you're here, too. You guys did a pretty good job of holding down the fort last week.
Of course.
While I was doing family things. And by family things, I mean we went to Soak City because it was pass holder preview.
Oh, nice.
Which is actually, it was supposed to rain early in the morning that day, and it ended up being like 75 and breezy. It was like the perfect day to be there. It was pretty rad. So this is Some Shit We Like, and if you're unfamiliar with the way we do things here, we put up an audio podcast on Tuesdays. Tuesday through Thursday, we put up clips in video form on YouTube, and Friday, you can get the whole fucking show, as Bryce likes to say. Unless it's too long and Rick doesn't feel like rendering out a 2.5 hour long video, then you get a lot of clips Monday through Friday.
Until I get my new PC.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we do here. What'd you guys do this week?
My week was shit, and then it got sprinkled with more shit because on Friday, yesterday, I got really sick. Threw up most of the night.
Really? I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh yeah, it was
Holy
that
crap!
bad.
Okay.
I was like puking everywhere.
Did you puke all over Brian's and then come over here?
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect.
No, I cleaned up the sink.
Okay.
But yeah, I went out with them to go eat at some Chinese restaurant, and I think I would have been fine. I think it would have. One of the things I ordered wasn't proper.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that made me sick.
I was just gonna say I don't remember the last time I threw up, but I do remember it was about a month ago when I was in Vegas because I brunched way too hard and didn't eat enough food.
So food was the one that did me wrong this
Yeah.
time. But yeah, like I'm not 100% right now, so this is probably why you're getting those very monotoned Rick right now and low energy.
What's
But
different?
then again, what's different? Well, when I have caffeine in me, that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
No caffeine
but
today.
green tea has caffeine. Oh no,
No, I got the passion
passion
one.
tea lemonade.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
It's like basically hibiscus.
it's just sugar.
Yeah.
Well, you got no sweetener though, huh?
I got no sweetener.
Good job, Rick. Good job.
But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I finished The Good Doctor. Did I mention that last week?
I don't know. Did you? I wasn't here.
I know you told me, but I don't know if
I don't think I said it on the podcast.
That's a problem we have a lot.
Yeah.
I'll say,
Welcome, you're official.
I'll say some shit like, oh yeah, last week when we talked about blah blah blah, and then no, we didn't. It's like, yeah, no, we did on the show, right?
Yeah.
No, we talked about it when we got lunch afterwards. I was like, fuck. Like I had one of those moments in the car with Rick right now because like last time I was here, I had finished sex education, and I told you guys I was gonna watch Everything Sucks, and promptly binge watched that entire season in one night, Saturday night when I got home, and then I was like, I talked about this on the show, didn't I, Rick? And he's like, no, because you were gone last week. I was like, yeah, but the week before, and I was like, no, I didn't talk about it that week.
Yeah. Anyway, I did end up finishing that.
That's cool.
And I feel like I watched more. I watched. See, here's again. Like I think I just told you in person. I watched Dead to Me.
Yeah.
That was in person.
Yeah,
huh?
you just told me in person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I watched Dead to Me, which is fucking dark, hilarious comedy.
That's good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, it's real dark comedy, but it's really good. It's Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini, which is like the two duos.
Is that the one I've been seeing trailers for? I think.
Maybe
Okay.
it's on Netflix.
Yeah. Okay. I think things have been popping up on my Facebook feed. Trailers for it.
Yeah, it kind of dropped out of nowhere, but it's
Yeah.
been really
Okay.
buzzy the
Okay.
last few weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, you told me first, and then another coworker told me too. Like, oh, and then I heard someone else talk about it over here, and I'm like, I guess I should watch this. So, but I like Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini.
Yeah, I like Christina
Freaks and
Applegate a lot.
Geeks, Married with Children.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's good.
James, you do anything interesting this week?
Yeah, I had a good week.
Awesome.
It wasn't shit like
Poor Rick.
like Rick because I hung out with Rick on Tuesday.
That's right, we did.
Oh,
So-
nice. Okay.
So I feel kind of sad that hanging out with me is shit. But
Accept that part. Accept that part.
Oh, James, you fit right in here. God damn it, that's amazing. Perfect.
Except the part.
Wow.
I'm sorry, James. I didn't mean it like that.
It's cool.
No, that was probably the highlight of my week.
He says that now, right?
No, it wasn't. You watched Buffy. You watched Buffy. Two Buffy fans.
Yes, I know you told me about that.
Which
Very excitedly.
we're gonna come out with a little something later
Okay.
in the future.
All right.
So be sure to follow James and I on Twitter.
That's cool.
Unless
That's
he's
cool.
pissed at me,
Yeah.
and I won't be back.
Unless that was it. Just the 2 episodes watching it. That was it. Well, that's cool.
I'm in a shit week at work.
I hear you. I hear you.
I know.
Now he feels really bad about it.
Oh, it's great. I'm just playing. I had to say that.
No, you did.
That's too funny, man.
Uh,
So, other than ruining Rick's week, what else did you do, man?
I went to the movies twice and
Okay.
just binged all kinds of crap on TV, and
Oof, nice.
just a nice, relaxing week.
What was the thing you said I should watch next, Rick? Was it Atypical?
Atypical.
Okay. All right. I'll start that then. 'Cause-
I mentioned that too because of the actor you like. Is in it. He plays the dad.
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Rappaport's amazing. That dude's too funny, man. Okay, so I'll watch that. That's the next thing on my list to watch. But okay.
I'm very excited for tomorrow night, though.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch
Game of
it, but
Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Last one ever. Very.
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. That's the big thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Wow.
The Super Bowl for the nerds of Game of Thrones.
I have never, ever seen an episode of Game of Thrones. I've never read any of the
I've
books.
just seen episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could sit here and be like, I'm not into like the high fantasy stuff, and I'm not like I don't like the Tolkien stuff. But I did read all of Christopher Paolini's Aragon books, which are fucking rad. And considering he wrote the first one when he was like 14 years old is insane. But you can tell because that first 2 chapters, like the first 50 pages of Aragon are like, you can tell it was like a kid sitting in English class going, oh, I have to really describe every detail of everything. Like, it's hard to get through like that first 50 pages, but once the story really gets going, the rest of that book and the 3 after it are fucking amazing. But yeah, I'm not super into, I guess,
okay.
orcs and trolls and dragons and...
Well, I thought I was chatting with Bryce yesterday. I thought I told him that you watch it, so maybe you get both of you in to talk about it, so we can have some more content.
I wonder if he'll have watched it by the time... He's not going to watch it by the time he gets back.
Apparently, that's the only thing he's watching while he's in Japan.
Oh, really?
He doesn't have time to watch Endgame, but he has time for Game of Thrones.
All right, well, he doesn't care about Avengers. I mean, he cares about Avengers, but not like... not the way the rest of you dorks do.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. All right. Well, I decided that if I was going to be gone, I better, have some things to bring. I'm reading a book. I saw a movie. I've listened to a new album. It's on they're all fucking amazing. The new album is Carly Rae Jepsen's album, Dedicated, and I'm a huge fan. I didn't even realize I'm wearing
Oh, you are?
the tour shirt from the last tour. It's so good. Like, she's got this... Everybody is doing, like, this throwback pop sound.
Mm-hmm.
And she is one of the few people that when she does it, I don't care how many writers she has or how many different producers she has or whatever. When she does it, it feels really genuine. And seeing her live perform these songs from Emotion and from her previous album... I can't remember the name of the first album. Or not the first album, but the first mainstream album. You really feel it. It's like real genuine. And seeing her live was awesome because, I don't know, it's pop music, so I expected like backing tracks and all that. But no, she had a full-on live band and only 2 backup singers. There was no loops, there was no backing tracks. It was just live music performance, and it was so cool to see that. And so I was really excited like November when she first started putting out like clips and singles and stuff. And I was like, oh man, I'm really excited. And then yesterday the album came out, and I was like, I hope I'm not let down by it, because I'm super hyped about it, and I'm a big fan of her stuff. And it's fucking amazing, man. Like, she seems to do things, and then it becomes like the thing. Like, she'd been doing like the 80s style pop revival stuff, and then after Emotion came out, everybody started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the way the music industry goes. Everybody latches onto the same thing at the same time. Hers just happened to come out first. On the new album, there is a lot of that still, but there is some really cool, almost like Donna Summer 70s style throwback pop stuff on it. And
that sounds kind of
it's
cool.
really fucking good, man. And if you are a fan of any of her previous work, you're going to love this album. I'm, a person that kind of wears their heart on their sleeve with the things they like. And I like a whole wide gamut of types of music. I like anything from, pop to country to rock to, I was talking about it before I went on the air. I liked and still like Limp Bizkit. I'm in the new metal thing. I like everything. I can find something to like in every genre of music that exists. And I hate when people like, oh, I only like this. Like, you're putting yourself in a box, and you're missing out on a whole like big world of amazing shit when you put yourself in that box. And I try to not do that. I do that with some things. We've talked about it here the last couple of weeks, but I try not to do that. Like, I love romantic comedies. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. I like musicals. I like everything. I like something in every genre. So if you are someone like that has an open mind about modern music, and not somebody that's like, oh, all modern music is shit. Sometimes to find good stuff, you got to do a little digging, and that's when it's the most rewarding, when you find the things you like, is when you do a little bit of digging. And her new album is so friggin' good, and I hope it sells 1 million copies and streams however many streams on streaming services it needs for her to make money, because it's just so friggin' good, and it just comes off as so genuine when she does it.
Very cool. I'm gonna be streaming that tonight.
Yeah, it's really good, man. I'm a huge Howard Stern fan. I've talked about it on the show before. I recently not really been listening a lot lately, because it kind of got stuck in a rut about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was like, it's just not doing it for me anymore. And then I got the discounted price for it's like $1 a month for 3 months. So I did that like at the end of April. And so I've been listening to the show for the last month, and it's been really good. And it's because he has something that he's really passionate about to talk about, his new book. And it's called Howard Stern Comes Again. And I have his first 2 books because Bryce is fucking awesome. And I was looking for them everywhere, and I couldn't find them. And for 1 year for Christmas, he got me Private Parts in Miss America, like actual hardcover editions of those books. And I have not read them since I was like 12, so 13, when I probably shouldn't have been reading them. But I haven't read them since then. And even though I have them, I still haven't gone back and read through them again. But this book is like a collection of interviews. And it's the stuff he says he's the most proud of. And he talks about how his style has changed, especially since coming to satellite radio, because there's not any restrictions. And he's like, I'm not even talking about being able to curse or do whatever I want. It's I don't have time restrictions. I don't have to cut to a commercial break in the middle of an interview. I can have somebody in there for an hour and a half, and we can get into a real deep discussion, and I don't have to worry about pleasing sponsors, because the subscribers are paying for that. And you heard some of that with the Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron interview a few weeks ago. That was like almost 2 hours long and off the fucking charts, hilarious and fun. And they talked about stuff that, doesn't really get talked about. And yeah, so his interview style has gotten so much better over the last 10, 15 years. And a lot of the interviews in the book are from that era, the satellite radio era. But there are some from like back in the day when he was on terrestrial radio. Like, he's got an interview with Ozzy Osbourne from like 95 after Ozzy got clean, which is a really interesting interview, because he, like Howard even says, like, people complain about not being able to understand Ozzy because of his thick accent. But then when I was going over the transcripts of these interviews, especially this one with Ozzy, when you strip away the accent and just read what he was saying and read his words, the guy's he's super smart, he's very witty, and he has something to say that I think is beneficial for people. And I read that interview, and it's really honest. Like, that's the best way to put it. He's very forthcoming about all the things he had done, why he was in rehab, how they got him to go to rehab, how he's doing now. And this is from like 1995. But yeah, there's just so many amazing interviews, and before each interview is prefaced by a couple of pages of like, you know, here's why I wanted this person on the show. Here's like my mindset. Here's how I went into it. This is what I was thinking. And like, so it really is like, if you have any desire to talk for a living, whether it be on the radio or on a podcast or on YouTube or whatever, like, you got to read this book, because you get into the mind of somebody who's been doing it for 35 years and will admit that he's only been good at it for the last 10. And telling you why he feels like he's good at it now as opposed to before. Like, you don't have to go through the things he went through to get there. It really is like a masterclass in interviewing and speaking. And
Actually, I think he does have a master class.
He's done over like 10,000 hours or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And I suggest it to whether you're a Howard Stern fan or not. I recommend it to people, especially if you're a fan, especially if you've heard these interviews before. And even if you haven't, they're just super in depth. Like last night I read one with Courtney Love from 2016, I believe, which I hadn't heard before because I wasn't listening to the show at the time. And it was one of those times where she came in and she's been clean for a while. She was talking very openly about her relationship with her daughter and what went wrong and how they're back, you know, communicating again. Anytime she'd ever been on before, when she was on drugs or alcohol or whatever, she would always shit talk Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters and all that stuff. But she's like super honest in this interview about how she feels about Dave Grohl and what they've done and what he's done with the Foo Fighters. And it's really interesting, man. It's definitely worth reading for sure. And then I saw a movie. And I told you guys, you were like, oh, you're going to miss the Detective Pikachu review. And I was like, yeah, but it's okay. I'll go see it while I'm out. And then I'll come back and I'll tell you guys why you were wrong. You guys weren't wrong. The movie is fucking amazing. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. You said something that really resonated with me, James. You said you felt like a kid again watching that movie. And the entire time I was watching it, I was like, I wish I was 8 years old, like when I saw Gremlins for the first time, because this would be my Gremlins now. Like, the Mr. Mime scene is so fucking funny. Like, the bit they show in the trailer is amazing, but it doesn't even hold a candle to the actual scene in the movie. What's the kid's name that plays the lead? You said it last week, and I can't remember. Justice Smith? Is it Justice Smith?
Yeah.
He is so good in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he makes you feel everything he's feeling. And the girl that played Lucy is also in Blockers last year. She played Leslie Mann's daughter in Blockers.
That's where she looks familiar from.
And
okay.
She was super good in it, and she's got this real playful character and personality, and all the stuff that you want to be there. Like, Psyduck has to be there.
Yeah.
And Psyduck was there doing what Psyduck does. Ryan Reynolds, we talked about it a couple weeks ago a little bit with Seth Rogen, where you always forget the heart that Seth Rogen can bring to movies and characters. And I think Ryan Reynolds is the same way. Like, you get lost in the Deadpool and you get lost in his comedy. So when he does, like, that scene where they're sitting on the curb,
Yeah.
and Justice Smith is kind of breaking down, and Pikachu is like that scene, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I guess as a dad, as somebody who has kids, like, that stuff hits me a lot harder now than it ever did before. And yeah, man, there was like 2 or 3 times in the movie where I was like, oh God, I'm not crying. I'm not fucking crying. I'm not going to cry during a fucking Pikachu movie. Get out of here. But Ryan Reynolds has a way of doing that, and even when it's just his voice, like he has a way of bringing that kind of emotion to the character. And you guys didn't really talk about spoilers for the story or anything in the review, which I think is cool. There's one really cool thing that I really feel like you need to see the movie to experience the same way I did, because when it happens, inside I was like, oh shit! And I wanted to jump up and do that in the theater. And again, it goes back to that feeling like a kid watching it again, like in the way they bring you into that world and you totally suspend disbelief and you get lost in that movie. And I hope there's more of these in the Pokemon world. I don't necessarily know how another Detective Pikachu movie could work, considering the way it ends. But more movies in the Pokemon universe in Rhyme City, like the way they did all that stuff, man. And Bill Nighy was amazing. It's one of those things where you see this, and then you put it against what we saw with the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, and what that's gonna end up being. Like, you can make good movies based on cartoony or video game intellectual property. You can do it. It can be done. It's been proven before, and it was proved, this year with Detective Pikachu, that you can take something that you don't necessarily think could be a live action movie, and you can make it work. And you can make it work really, really well. Like, I felt like a kid, like you said, felt like a kid watching like Gremlins or Howard the Duck, or movies I loved when I was a kid that had the same kind of vibe. Now, going back and watching those might not hold up as well.
Howard definitely doesn't.
Right, Howard definitely doesn't. I think Gremlins might. I watched Gremlins 2 recently, and because it was on cable. I don't even remember why I was watching it, but I caught it like 2 minutes in. I was like, oh, Gremlins 2, I love this movie. I love Phoebe Cates. I'll watch anything she's in anyway. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, this is not as... It was a lot better than I expected it to be looking at it as an adult. And there are some movies for me that don't do that. And I've brought it up here before. Both Rick and Bryce want to kill me when I say it. But Goonies does not hold up anymore. As much as I loved Goonies as a kid, there are some like editing choices and some of the over-the-top stuff, and just some of it, I go, oh god, no, this was like one of my favorite movies as a kid, and it doesn't hold. It's not in the same esteem for me anymore as it used to be. I'm not saying it's not good or I don't enjoy it. It was just one of those things where after I watched it a few years ago, I was like, oh man. But yeah, this is one of those movies that I think really taps into that childlike wonder side, and makes you forget you're watching a movie about CG Pikachu, because of how well they do that CG, and two, how well those actors interact with each other. So you guys were 100% right. It was a great movie, and there's really not much to critique about it. I really liked the way it started.
Yeah. Trying to catch the
It was very much a Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
The way it started.
Yeah.
It's like the beginning of the game where it shows Red, popping up from the thing trying to throw the ball.
Yeah. So I really dug it, man, and everybody involved should be super proud of what they put out there, because it's something that apparently not a lot of studios can get right.
It's one of the highest grossing video games
movies already.
Movies out.
Okay.
They beat out, what was it? I think it was Tomb Raider.
God, those movies aren't good. Neither one of them. I don't like the Jolie ones, and I didn't like the
I didn't watch
one.
the other one. I wanted to, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I like the video game so far.
Yeah.
Still gotta finish it.
The first one? I thought you finished it.
No.
Okay.
I'm close.
So yeah, that's what I did this week.
Woo! Cheesy Play, subscribe.
Yeah.
3 months tier. Or been subscribed for 3 months.
That reminds me, I gotta re-up on Cheesy's channel.
Welcome, Cheesy.
So that's what I did this week. Been reading, listening, watching, and playing a little bit of games here and there, but nothing really to update or talk about other than I got the Game Boy skin for Tetris 99, which is dope as shit. If If you guys aren't playing Tetris 99, you're all fucking up. You need to be playing it.
I just started playing more Pokemon.
Oh yeah, cool.
Let Pokemon Let's Go.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of. We just started. Mike just caught us up.
Yeah, I'm all caught up now on everything that you guys talked about last week. I wish I was here to talk about the It trailer because I thought it looked like junk. Yeah.
Cool. So I guess we can
move on. Get into the show proper.
Get into the news.
After I've taken 40 minutes of your time. Now let's go for another hour and 40 minutes and talk about trailers. Or news first. News first. Yes, yeah. Yes. I was just on such a high, Rick. Why would you bring me down so hard? Jesus.
You can leave that for last.
What he does.
No, let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it now. Let's get it out of the way.
All right. So, news came out a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yesterday specifically, that Robert Pattinson is on the short list to play Batman.
Ooh.
Along with Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah. I think those are the only two that are even discussed right now.
So far from the list, it only shows his name and Nicholas Hoult. There was someone else, I think Armie Hammer.
That's been going around for a while though. Like that's.
I feel like that too. Plus, he was already supposed to. Wasn't he already supposed to play Batman in the old Justice League?
Even before Affleck,
movie.
He was talked about. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
33. He's 33 years old.
Looks like he's 12.
He's in negotiations right now for the Matt Reeves movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. We don't really know as far as the story wise. I think all we know is this is going to be its own standalone.
Yeah.
And I can't find the actual article, but they already have villains.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's the Penguin and the Joker, or Penguin and Catwoman. Which is basically
really? Why would they redo that?
Exactly. People are now calling it. Oh, so they're going to reboot
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns.
Yeah.
That's already. That's one of my favorites.
It's good.
I love Batman.
Sounds good.
Danny DeVito,
So
man.
why redo it?
Danny DeVito steals the show in that movie.
Nobody else can play the Penguin.
Nolan North does the voice of Penguin in the Arkham games, and you wouldn't even know it's him because he has this full-on British accent that sounds super authentic, and it's kind of a little bit gravelly, but not like. You'll have to listen to some of the lines of dialogue from it because you wouldn't even know it was Nathan Drake.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting.
All right.
I don't know if interesting is the word.
Yeah, it's misguided.
So, I recently watched a movie with him in it
Twilight.
called High Life.
Twilight.
No, not Twilight.
You
High
don't,
Life.
you don't binge Twilight at home by yourself?
Yes, he does. Yes, he fucking does.
Yeah.
Even if he says he doesn't, he does. Okay, what's it called? High Life?
It's called High Life.
Okay.
And as weird as of a movie that was, he did really good in it. He was really good in it.
He was also good in Harry Potter until he gets killed.
Spoilers.
He's in Harry Potter?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Plays
But,
Cedric.
I think I could be okay with it.
Yeah.
He can act.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, if I didn't see this movie, I probably would have said fuck this. No, it's bullshit. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like every other fan person. But after watching this movie, like I think he could pull it off.
I'm not quite on the fuck off train, but I'm also not on the let's do this. I'm kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not saying let's do this.
I'm gonna wait for the next one. You guys go ahead. I don't know, man. Like, I try not to get caught up in the look for characters when people are cast in movies,
or stick with their stereotype,
right?
Or their signature character.
Yeah. But I had similar issues when the casting for Ready Player One came out. Just looking at Ty Sheridan, I was like, I don't think that's not the Wade Watts I see. And when I saw Olivia Cook, I was like, that's not the Artemis I see either. But watching that movie, both of them were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can't really judge people by the look. But Batman, and granted, you can't line up everybody that's ever played Batman and they all look the same. They've always had different looks and different takes on Batman. But I have a image of what I think Batman is in my head. And I don't see Robert Pattinson or Nicholas Hoult, to be fair. I really like Nicholas Hoult a lot. I was just saying before we went on, like, you know, acting-wise, that dude is off the charts. Like, he made me care about a character in a movie like Warm Bodies that is kind of like a movie that should just be, you know, oh, go to the movies and turn your brain off and go watch a funny Romeo and Juliet style love story. But him and the girl do a great job of making you care about those characters, and you believe they care about each other because they help you suspend that disbelief. So I think, you know, acting wise, I'm sure Nicholas Hoult could pull it off, and I got no beef with Robert Pattinson acting ability. I think he's perfectly fine as an actor, but I just don't know if I'll be able to get over the look thing. And the last time I was kind of on the fence when it came to a look was Wonder Woman. Like, you look at her and it's like, that's not Wonder Woman. Yeah, she's fucking gorgeous and tall and everything, but like, she just doesn't look like Wonder Woman. Then when she's in Batman versus Superman and you see her in the suit, you're like, okay, it works. And the way she played the character, it worked. So I'm sure either one of those guys can make me think that, but I am a little bit more, you know, digging my heels in when it comes to Batman, because that's
your guy.
That's my dude. Batman is my dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to see a movie with Robert Pattinson playing Batman or Nicholas Hoult. So like, I wanted to make sure I said, like, you know, I don't think Nicholas Hoult has the right look either, but maybe either one of them can prove me wrong. And I hope that's what happens. But at the same time, like, this does not move the needle for me on a Batman movie at all.
So Cheesy watched High Life. He liked it.
Okay.
Apparently. Yeah, I liked it too. It was weird. Probably wouldn't watch it again, but I still enjoyed it for what it was.
Okay.
Because it was just strange, and it was an A24 movie. So, but for the most part, like, I thought he did a really good job in it. Like, I honestly don't know if I've seen him act in a movie. I guess he was in Harry Potter, and I didn't know. But yeah, he
Goblet of Fire.
I don't know. Maybe I saw him in something else, and I just don't remember. But yeah, he was really good in that, and I think he could do it. Yeah. I wouldn't want to see him as
He's
Batman,
not, yeah.
kind of
But
like you.
At the same time, I can't think of anybody else right now.
And I'm just a fan of Nicholas Hoult in general.
Yeah.
You know, back when he was even on Skins. So, like, even in, you know, to now. So, I don't know. I'm more Nicholas Hoult than I am with Robert Pattinson. Mm-hmm. What about you, James?
I honestly don't know what to think. They're both good actors. I think Nicholas Hoult might be too much of a pretty boy. So, like, him being...
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like, as Batman. Because like, that leans more to Val Kilmer. And less the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Fair point.
But he is good. And I like you, I don't have any beef with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I see him, he sparkles.
And it's not even his fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's not his fault at all.
It's not.
But I don't know. Like, that picture, like, I've never seen him look like a man before.
Oh,
and
shit.
So
that's the same thing I was thinking. This picture, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull up the picture here for everyone to see. But yeah, like, I could see Batman in this. Like, I can see a Bruce Wayne right there.
Yeah, because he's attractive, but he's not pretty. And I think that Batman kind of needs to have that, not grungy look, but like a...
Rugged.
Yeah, like a rugged look.
Yeah. Yeah, I
hear
hear
Affleck.
Yeah, I'd see.
Like Ben Affleck.
I know Rick and I are both in the minority. We both feel like
love Ben Affleck as Batman.
He didn't get a fair shake at all.
Oh, I agree.
Not at all. And the stuff you see him where he is being Batman and not Bruce Wayne, when he's being Batman, he's really fucking good as Batman. Like, the stuff in Suicide Squad with him, the little bit he's in it, like,
Agreed.
That's the fucking Batman I want to see. I also think he was a perfectly fine Bruce Wayne, but he was a Batman.
He was a better Batman than
Fuck,
Bruce
he was
Wayne.
a Batman.
But he
And-
could pull. He was still all right with Bruce Wayne.
And that's always the problem, isn't it? Like, you get these actors and they can pull one off or the other. I don't think there's ever been a Batman actor that's been able to be both Batman and Bruce Wayne super convincingly, in my opinion. Even Adam West, going with the hokiness of the 60s series, he was a perfectly fine Bruce Wayne and a perfectly fine Batman. But I always bought him more as Batman than Bruce Wayne. Michael Keaton, great Bruce Wayne. Okay Batman. Christian Bale, great Batman. I understand it was a different era of Batman they're going for, a younger, but I didn't buy him as Bruce Wayne. I bought him as Batman. Even with the voice, everybody shut the fuck up about the voice.
That's exactly what was going on in my head right now.
I thought he was a very good Batman. But yeah, it just seems like we can never have our cake and eat it too. It's one or the other. And I hope that one of these guys, whoever they go with, seems like Pattinson is the front runner. I hope one of these guys can do that.
Your whole take, though, on the actors only being really good at one or the other, though, that's pretty universal. Like, I hear everybody mention that.
Yeah.
So you would think at this point they would just hire 2 actors.
Right. Why not? Right? Why not?
Because it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
Didn't they kind of do that with Gotham? Because like that kid wasn't in the bat suit.
Oh, no, I thought he was.
No.
He wasn't? Okay. Well, that works.
There you go.
Yeah, they got someone else to be in the suit and then just voiced over.
Well, the kid is like a toothpick. Like, he's so
Yeah.
skinny. They would have to pad the shit out of him.
Okay. All right. We're going to do this. We always do this. Who would you cast as a Batman and Bruce Wayne?
Oh, Jesus.
One actor. If you could cast one actor, who would you cast?
Both Batman and Bruce
Yeah,
Wayne.
and granted, they're obviously going for a
30.
mid-20s, late, or like mid-20s to 30s Batman. You know what I mean? It's obviously the look they're going for. And I was kind of, ball breaking about Robert Pattinson looking like he's 12. Even in this manliest photo of him I've ever seen, he still looks like he's barely old enough to buy alcohol. So I would card him if I was working at a supermarket or a liquor store. So they're obviously going for a younger look. Could you think of anybody that you would put in that role?
At that age?
Yeah. Or that could even pull off that age.
I mean, he kind of already is Batman, but Stephen Amell.
See? That's someone I think that could do it.
Because like he played a real good Oliver Queen and a really good Green Arrow.
I also think he's too good looking.
He does have the rugged look.
Yeah, he
though.
does.
He does
Yeah,
have
he
that
totally
rugged
does.
look, yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's my go-to for everything, and it's probably not right, but Miles Teller, as an actor, could
Oh my
definitely
God,
pull it
Miles
off.
Teller could
You know
totally
what?
do
I'm
it.
down for
Yeah, that's a really good pick. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to go younger, you can go for his fucking younger doppelganger, Ty Sheridan. But he's Scott Summers, so I can't do that. But yeah, that's Miles Teller is the first thing that popped when I saw the side by side of Nicholas Hoult and Robert Pattinson. I was like, why don't you just get
Oh my God, that's really
get
good.
fucking Miles Teller, get the guy,
All right, DC, you heard it here. Go get fucking Miles Teller right now.
get the guy, because like I don't know, I think that if you would put those two actors together, you would have one that looks like Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles works. He's super talented.
Yep.
And he looks like he's been in a few fights.
Yeah. Have you seen Bleed for this?
No.
Okay. I think we talked about this, not this during this time that you've been on, but the last time you were on. It's about a boxer named Vinny Pazienza, and it's a biopic, and Miles Teller played Vinny Pazienza, and that was the movie that really got me on board with Miles Teller, because I liked stuff that he was in. I liked him in stuff, but I could take or leave him in whatever. But watching him play that role and look the way he looked in that movie, I was like, man. And Rick only went to go see it with me because Miles Teller was in it, and he was a huge boner for Miles Teller. I was like, let's go see this Miles Teller movie. It's about boxing. And he's like, all right. So we went and saw it, and he walked out, and he's like, that was a fucking awesome movie. And I walked out going, Miles Teller is pretty fucking awesome. So, yeah, I think he could do it.
Welcome, Mavens. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't streamed in a bit. Or maybe I'm just missing the notifications. Sebastian Stan wants to be Riddler, apparently. And would that be weird to have an actor from Marvel world cross over to DC?
No.
I mean, Josh Brolin kind of did it, right?
DC desperately needs the
Josh
talent
Brolin?
of Marvel.
Yeah. I could definitely see Sebastian Stan as Riddler, though. That's actually a really good pick. But no, Josh Brolin went to Fox. That's what happened because he played Cable and then he played Thanos. But yeah, I don't know. Is that something you think they could do technically?
You want to talk about somebody that can play a fucking Batman, dude? Josh Brolin, holy shit. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think I could. I mean, as a fan, I could personally separate the two from each.
I don't know this person's name. Who is
Mavens.
this? No, the actor.
Sebastian Stan. Oh, he played Winter Soldier.
Oh,
Bucky.
I haven't seen it, so okay.
That's right. He hasn't seen it.
Haven't seen it.
I could picture him as the Riddler.
I could totally picture him as Riddler. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
I doubt his contract would allow him to do that.
yeah, that's the kind of thing that I wonder if they're, because I mean it's still a job, you know, like you can't stop someone from getting another job.
No, but come on, dude. You're not gonna be able to do both at the same time.
It's true, Bucky wasn't a huge character, but he has that big TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, now, yeah, he does have that
Yeah,
big
Falcon
show.
and Winter Soldier is coming out.
That's on
And
Disney
rumor
Plus.
has it both of them will be a bigger part of the next Avenger series.
Oh, the next 15 years of movies they have planned out.
Pretty much, yeah.
I love that they're making these movies. I just don't care to see them.
Like, I kind of would like to see that happen, too, because, like, Sebastian Stan, yeah, you know, Riddler would be great. Because, like, I could see Tom Holland. I know he's one of the bigger actors, but I could see him play Robin. No?
Yeah, no, I could see that.
I could see him play Robin easily. Maybe, like, not Dick Grayson, but
He's too happy
Tim
enough to be
Drake.
Robin.
So, you want to go Dick Grayson? I'm going to say it's the guy who should have been Spider-Man. Asa Butterfield couldn't be Dick Grayson.
Yeah, there you go. Asa Butterfield, Dick Grayson, yeah.
I know. I love the comments we get when I always say that he should have been picked over Tom Holland. I love it. It's true. He should have been. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like Riddler, it just depends on how you want to go. Do you want to go over the top? Do you want to be a little bit more grounded? And do you want to go early, or do you want to be like full on? You never go full Riddler though. Come on, you can't go full Riddler.
Jim Carrey did.
I know, and he was the only good thing about that movie because I felt like he was jumping off the page of a comic book at me.
Yeah.
Why they kill Black Widow and are giving her their own standalone movie. Is it a movie? I thought it was oh yeah, she's getting her own like prequel.
Who is?
Black Widow.
Oh.
And it's gonna be apparently during the Y2K era.
Awesome.
But yeah, interesting to see what happens with Robert Pattinson.
I would definitely be looking at this, giving it side eye the whole time until something actually comes out that I can judge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and of course it's not official yet.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
The more and more we stare at this picture, though, the more and more I could see it. You
I know.
what
I just left the picture like right there. We've been staring at Robert Pattinson throughout this whole conversation.
He's so dreamy.
All right. Next story is Saw is being reimagined by Chris Rock with Darren Bousman returning to direct.
Okay.
He was the original, obviously it says there, the original director of the first Saw movie.
Did he direct the original?
Yeah, Darren Bousman. It was James Wan and Lee Wanell who wrote
it.
the
Okay,
movie.
that's
yeah.
right.
But yeah, Saw by Chris Rock. That was interesting to hear.
Oh, that looks like an Onion article to me. Or like a Saturday Night Live skit where you have somebody acting as Chris Rock just screaming and yelling at you for 90 minutes. Because that's what his stand-up had devolved into over the last 10 years. I don't know, man. Like, I liked Saw a lot, the first one. I didn't see it in theaters. I had no idea about the quote-unquote twist until I saw it like on home video, on DVD.
I saw it on cable.
So I was like, wow, that's so different. That's so cool. And then I couldn't get into 2. I tried watching it several times and always tap out about halfway through. And I have not watched a Saw movie since. I feel like...
From the first
one, yeah. I'm not... Like, I didn't watch... I know, like, the big thing was like, oh, man, they have all the torture porn, the traps, like, all that stuff. Like, that's what people were super into.
Like...
But I was more into, like, the psychological nature of the movie. Because that's what I like about horror movies or psychological thrillers. I like when they can get in your head. And anytime we talk about movies like that, I always bring up the movie Frailty. It's so good at getting in your head and doing that to you. And I really feel like the first Saw did that really, really well.
Yeah.
Even though it had like these gory things happening, or potentially gory things happening. I feel like the second one was like out of the gate, like, here's the shit from the first one, but turned up a notch. And it kind of took the psychological nature that I loved about that first movie, and it kind of started whittling away at it. And by the time we get to Saw 37 or whatever the fuck number we were on last, it's literally just, for that, I could just go watch best of kill scenes in horror movies at that point. Like, there's nothing there of substance. So I have no idea what to think about this being rebooted by Chris Rock.
I'm actually 100% down for this.
Me too. I am too, actually.
I think I'm the only person that absolutely loves every single Saw film.
I don't know if I'll ever.
And I'm not a fan of like torture porn and stuff. Like, I don't watch it for that. I like trying to guess the twist ending because every single one has it.
Yeah.
And they're ridiculous, and the more they kept going, the more ridiculous it got. So thinking a comedian reimagining this to actually add humor into what is arguably the most ridiculous horror series ever made.
Of course.
Yeah.
Halloween was up there for a little while. It got there. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm
But
pretending some of those don't exist.
Yeah, I'm with you. By far, though, this is definitely the most fantastical of the horror movies.
Yes.
So in this article, Chris Rock has been quoted. I've been a fan of Saw since the first film in 2004, said Rock. I am excited by the opportunity to take this to a really intense and twisted new place. So he's been a fan for a long time, and I don't know. I think comedians are.
If you want to go sick and twisted, get into the mind of a comedian, because all humor comes from a dark place.
Well, that's why the Jordan Peele, his 2 horror films are amazing.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen those.
Okay.
But I know of them. I really wanted to see that second one. Us? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Us.
I
Yeah.
really wanted to see that. I just haven't seen it yet.
I really like it. Super creepy.
He thinks of everything so methodically when he writes. You can just tell by watching.
Well, when it's what
watching
you
his
like, it's all
movies.
psychological.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it's all
a very
psychological,
intelligent
yeah.
horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maven says some franchises need to shoot the sequel before they ruin it. Just shoot back to back.
Yeah, so I think that's the main issue with a lot of franchises is that first, like, I talk about it. It's one of those random topics that we want to do as a podcast, like a standalone episode where it's like, you know, the first movie is like super grounded and like not gritty, but a little bit darker and like has something to say. And then the sequel, they just latch on to the things that were the most popular and they become like caricatures of themselves. And I think, like I always say, the best example of that is a movie that is kind of over the top to begin with. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has like some depth and character and dark shit. They fucking try to murder them by arson in that first movie. They beat Raph within an inch of his life in that first movie.
Yeah.
And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 literally opens
Secret
with...
of the Ooze.
You could just put the fucking Benny Hill music over it, and it would fit just as well there as it did without. and it's a super over-the-top cartoon caricature of what it was.
But as a kid, I loved it.
And I'm not saying it's bad. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, that topic I want to do. It's not because movies got bad. It's they got real different. And,
yeah.
like, fucking one the other day that was on, Sister Act. They were trying to fucking murder her in that first movie. And in the second movie is a fucking cartoon. And, like, it doesn't have to be, like, those... The reason I use those two as examples is because it doesn't have to be a super serious, dramatic movie to then be turned into a cartoon to make you be like, what the fuck? It can be something that's sort of a kid's movie like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or something that was a PG movie in theaters like Sister Act. But there's a fucking murder in the first 10 minutes of Sister Act, and you see it! It's not like an off-screen murder. Like, it's a fucking murder. And then the second one is like, let's join this choir competition. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's... Yeah. So that sequels definitely do take way too much of like, well, let's take all the good stuff or what's perceived as the good stuff to make the next one. And I think that continually happened with the Saw movies moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
Because I enjoyed the first three. 4, I was alright. But like the first 3 kind of almost gave it that full circle. And then they just, after that, like they knew they had a hit, so they wanted to milk it for everything it's got. I mean, I had a good time watching it, but at the same time, like I'm kind of squishy when it comes to like, grossness. So that's why I like the first 3 because they aren't that bad.
Yeah. How was Jigsaw? Did you see?
I did see Jigsaw.
Yeah. Is that one good? Because that was kind of a different take, also.
I really liked it, but I think it's the worst one of the series.
Really? Okay.
I would have to see it again. I remember I enjoyed it.
Okay.
For the most part, because I guess it was, spoiler alert, a prequel.
Yeah.
Right, technically. But yeah, I remember I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool news.
It's always not, no matter what movie franchise it is or what IP it is, if you can get it looked at with a fresh pair of eyes, it's always good. Even if it was just in a script writing sense, like even if it was the same writers and the same directors and everybody, but you just had somebody from outside that bubble look at it and go, no, rearrange, move around. It's always better for the product, because when you get locked into something, and you can't see the forest through the trees. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what happens with franchises. So yeah, having a fresh set of eyes and a fresh, take, sensibility, personality, look at it. Who knows? It could be the fucking best one in the series, or it could be a stinker. Either way, it's going to be fun to watch, to see which way it goes,
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
You know what I've realized, Rick? That when James is on the show, I'm a lot less negative.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think you're helping my growth, James. You're helping my growth as a human being.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Speaking of the Saw and James Wan, transition to him producing the Mortal Kombat movie that shoots later this year.
Yeah, pre-production has officially started. Location scouting. They're going to be shooting it in South Australia. Yeah. I don't.
I believe James Wan is from Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just an announcement that I wanted to bring on here.
Yeah.
Because the game related and the movie related of it, and also because James Wan is a freaking amazing director.
Yeah.
So, and producer. So I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table for this.
I am too. I loved the first Mortal Kombat movie, and I unironically, and I'm in the minority, but I really enjoyed the second one also. There was some choices that probably shouldn't have been made in that one, but I still really enjoyed the overall vibe of that movie. I don't know, because we don't have any casting, we don't have anything really to go on.
We don't have anything tangible other than where it's filming and who's behind it.
Right.
Do we know if this is Like a reboot, or
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
So the game series themselves rebooted it itself
Okay.
with Mortal Kombat 9, the ninth game, which is pretty interesting. Like what they did, it was the story mode for Mortal Kombat 9 was essentially a retelling of the stories from the first 3 video games, which I think is really interesting. And then the one that just recently came out, so they did the 10th Mortal Kombat game was like, off of the 9th story and the way that game ends. So they moved forward with that and introduced kids of the main characters.
Okay.
Johnny Cage and Sonya's daughter, Cassie Cage. Jax's daughter, her name is Jackie, which is hilarious. And there was a third one. I can never remember the third one. Shit. Anyway, there's 3 combat kids. And so they picked that up and told their story. And then this one, the new one, Mortal Kombat 11, that just came out, has a time travel element involved into it, where a character can manipulate time and go back and is trying to... It's funny because this character is essentially trying to go back and fix the timeline that they changed with the 9th video game. Which is very interesting, and
seems very meta.
It really is. It really fucking is. And I'm kind of excited about this. I don't know if I should be. We don't have any casting news. All we have is a location and a director and a writer and like some producers. Like we don't really have anything tangible about it yet, other than it's actually happening, which I think is cool because there was a mini series 5 or 6 years ago on Machinima that was really, really fucking good. And Michael Jai White played Jax in that, and Jerry Ryan played Sonya. It was like,
oh, cool.
And because they were friends of the director who was putting it together, so he got them in it, and they were really fucking good as those characters. And
yeah, they were really good.
I just don't. Yeah, you can't do that, obviously, but I'm excited to see where they go with their casting choices and what the story is going to be, and I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on this just to see if I jive or don't jive with the casting selections.
Quit jabbing.
What do you think, Rick? Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I enjoyed the 95 movie when I watched it, and I'm excited, especially with like how like you already kind of mentioned it with them rebooting the game. I think it's kind of makes sense now. I'm definitely going to be interesting to see those damn fatalities.
How they do in the movies.
Whether it's going to be PG-13 or rated R.
Right.
Which, if they're going to go off these video games, they should probably be rated R.
I don't know, man. Because
I think you probably, although with PG-13 you get away with,
you can get away with a little bit.
With a little bit extra.
You just can't say fuck more than once. Yeah. You're good.
In America, you can watch the violence, but you can't hear us say fuck.
Did you watch the movies?
I've only seen the first one, but I remember liking it.
It's really good.
It's been a long time. And I have a lot of nostalgia for being in the arcade.
Yeah, for sure. I would recommend that if you don't want to play through the current games, watch the story mode on YouTube.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you can find a supercut of just the story bits from the video games. It's really interesting, man. Like I said, it's like you said, it's real meta. It's really kind of like inside, and it's really cool. And I'm excited to see where they go with a movie.
Cool.
Like what timeline are they gonna create their own timeline? Are they gonna go with the one that's previously established? Are they gonna go with the one that they've newly established?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And with James Wan, I'm always all in.
Yeah, I'm more apt to give it a shot when he's involved.
All right, so next we got some trailers for your eyeballs.
I thought you were going to say for your ass for some reason. We got some trailers for your ass. I thought that's where you were going.
For your eyeballs. All right. First one up is the Dead Don't Die Red Band trailer.
Before we get into it, I want to say something. The Days Gone, the game I've been playing, that's Sons of Anarchy meets Walking Dead, the shorthand for the way everybody describes it, was internally and originally going to be called Dead Don't Ride, which I thought was a really cool title. I think it's a way cooler title than Days Gone, but I digress. Let's move forward.
Is our plan to inform people about the zombie danger before it gets dark?
I guess so.
Because we passed Farmer Miller's place a little while ago, do we need to inform him?
Fuck Farmer Miller.
Oh, okay.
Oh my. Are you guys together?
So how the fuck do you kill a zombie?
Slow down a second, Cliff. Excuse me. You gotta kill the head.
Kill the head.
Decapitate. It's the only way to kill. Jesus.
You gotta get prepared.
Oh, that's bad.
Yuck.
That's unfortunate.
She's alive?
Holy shit.
Look out, kids. The dead don't die.
I got this, Cliff.
That looks pretty good. I'm interested in that for sure.
That's a fun cast.
Yeah. It's odd. Like
Yeah.
it's an odd cast, but yeah, it's super fun, man, for sure.
Yeah, weird. Bill Murray. Oh fuck, I forget his name. Adam Driver.
Just say Kylo Ren. That's all you
I
wanted
know.
to say.
I wanted to say Kylo Ren until this went in. Yeah, I thought I would bring this up to you guys because I thought it was funny.
That looks really good.
I feel like it almost has the Shaun of the Dead touch to it as
Yeah.
far as comedy goes.
Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland,
Yeah.
things like
But yeah, I thought it was also funny too because it has Bill Murray in it, which
Yeah.
was he was in Zombieland.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I brought this also to the table. And I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this trailer too, like, oh, you
Okay.
should see it. And this was my first time watching it, so I'm interested to see this.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. I think it looks really fun. I think the only thing I'll say is we've kind of reached the saturation point when it comes to blending of genres. It's not a bad thing at all, but I don't know how many more horror comedies I can watch. You know what I mean?
Well, they have more of the cast here, and that is Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover,
Oh, shit.
Caleb Landry, Jones, Rosie Perez,
Ooh.
Iggy Pop,
Yeah, cool. He's probably gonna play a zombie because he looks like one in real life.
Sarah Driver, Selena Gomez.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
she was in the trailer.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't actually kind of know what she looks like.
That's funny.
Anyways, but yeah, it looks
That's
like
a
it's
cool
a really
cast,
good
man.
cast.
That's a cool
Yeah.
cast. I love Rosie Perez.
Yeah, she's good.
So yeah, I figured on to the next one.
See, Bryce doesn't like Rosie Perez. I think we really do need to just replace Bryce with James. All right, next.
All right, next trailer is a request from Tim.
Also, leave
Yes.
that in the clip.
Yeah, this was a request from Tim.
Cool.
Yeah, Instagram, and he actually put it on our YouTube page. too.
Yeah, he did. He put in both places.
So this is for Stuber.
We're terrible about responding to messages, Tim. I apologize. But we see you. We see you.
Please be a 5-star ride.
Uber?
Yeah. Be cool, be nice. I'm Stu. How do you do?
Compton. LAPD, let's go.
Would you have a more specific address?
Compton!
Stop yelling, neighborhoods. That's not how Uber works. Hi, ladies.
What the hell's going on?
You selected the Uber pool option.
Over what? Ladies, official police business.
Is that even real?
Get out of the car!
Official police business?
Going to see a friend. Take this.
Oh, I am not touching that.
It's a baby gun. It allows you to fire it while crying. Get angry!
Stop that! Why are you laughing?
Own it!
This is the least!
You shot me! You got shot in the leg. Good for you, man. You shot your first guy. You scared me, Stu, and I love it!
How do you know my dad?
I got an idea! I'm gonna do this kidnapped me.
Doesn't freaking Jaws?
Exactly, just like Jaws, it's gonna work. Ready?
We killed some people.
Take the shot, Stu!
Just defeat him.
Stu, take the shot!
I got this. Hello, operator? We need help. Someone's trying to murder us. Hello, operator? We need help. Someone's trying to murder us.
God, that looks good, man. That looks good. It's fun to see how far Dave Bautista has come because as a wrestler early on in his career, doing the character stuff, he was fucking terrible.
Really?
Yeah, really bad at the character stuff. And maybe it's not necessarily all his fault, but generally, you know, if you're given a job, you do it to the best of your ability. And he is someone that if he didn't want to fucking do it, he would do it like shit. He didn't care. He could take or leave the job. He didn't really fucking care. And that's kind of when he did his best work towards the end of his initial run was they made him a bad guy and he was supposed to be a crybaby. Like every time he loses, pout about it. And it's funny to see this big ass dude upset because he lost. And he just got to a point where he didn't fucking care anymore because he knew his contract was coming up and he was going to be gone. And he just didn't care. And he went out and did some of the best fucking work of his career in that last 6 months. And then was gone for a while. And then they brought him back the year that Guardians came out. But they brought him back before Guardians came out. And a lot of fans still had a sour taste in their mouth because the way he carried himself was, I don't fucking care about this job. Like, and as somebody who loves wrestling, when you see somebody do that, it really sours you on them. Even if they're doing good work, they obviously don't care. So why should I care? So when he came back, he got, booed, and he was supposed to be a good guy, and he got the shit booed out of him to where they had no choice but to go with it and make him the bad guy. And the whole time I was saying, all these people that are booing them are going to be very upset that they were booing him when Guardians comes out, and they've pushed him away, and he's not going to want to come back after Guardians comes out, because that's big fucking business. Whether it's good or not, or he's good in it or not, it's going to make $1 billion fucking dollars because it's a Marvel movie, and they're really going to regret the way they're treating him. Sure enough, 3 months later, Guardians comes out, sets the world on fire, changes the direction of the Marvel style of movies, and everybody was like, fuck, we should have been a little bit nicer when he was here 3 months ago. And then he just recently came back and had one more match because he felt like he didn't get to end his career on his terms as a wrestler. Had a really fucking good match at WrestleMania.
Oh, nice.
And his character stuff was really good this time around because he cared and wanted it to be the best he could make it. And I just seeing that happen as a fan of wrestling that did not like him from the jump, and slowly have him start to grow on me to where I enjoy him more out of wrestling than in wrestling. Then he comes back and does this great stuff in wrestling, and now he's doing this awesome fucking buddy cop movie that's completely out of his wheelhouse as a personality and a character. I think that's it looks hilarious, and I'm super excited to see this movie, man.
Yeah, this looks fucking funny as shit. The concept is really good, and I love him in Guardians. I mean, that's really the only thing I've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
And I saw him in that other movie, Hotel Artemis.
Oh, he's in that. That's right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
And he was good. He was really good at that too. So, I'll see anything with this guy.
It's cool to see that he can pull off, the action and the comedy, because it's kind of a rarity. Generally, they try to get action guys to do comedy, and it doesn't work, or you try to get a comedy guy to be in an action movie, and that doesn't jive. Like someone like him and, another wrestler, The Rock, like those guys can pull off the action and the comedy and have it be super believable. What'd you think?
I think it looks awesome.
Yeah?
It looks funny. I saw the trailer last night and I laughed.
Yeah, like when Rick and I saw the trailer before Long Shot, I was like, why are we laughing so hard at this stupid trailer? But
But it works. It's a
Yeah.
simple premise.
Yeah.
The buddy cop movies have always been popular, and so it could be really good.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of the Uber driver. I mean, it's
current.
yeah, and they did something similar in the first Deadpool movie
Mm-hmm.
with the cab driver, which I thought was really cool and
Yeah.
funny. And that character ends up being more important than you think he's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I really like the idea of this. And again, it's another mashup of genres. But again, buddy cop movies, comedy movies, they kind of go together.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like going back to what you said earlier about the Shaun of the Dead vibe, the Hot Fuzz vibe of this, and like thinking about how far ahead of the curve that those guys were doing Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and movies like that, and now that's like it's a genre because of them. Now they weren't the first to do that, but they were the first to kind of
Revive it.
knock it out of the fucking park. Yeah, revive it and knock it out of the park. And now it's a sustainable genre that every year you see an action comedy or a horror comedy, and they generally do really well. And I think that all goes back to Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and that whole crew from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and that. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to see this movie.
Sick. We got another trailer, 2 more.
Okay.
I haven't seen this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a TV trailer for Batwoman. She was in I think 2 episodes of Arrow, and she did Ruby Rose. She did fucking awesome as Batwoman. So this is more for me, I guess.
So they're doing a full-on series.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen this yet either.
Crows represent order, security, safety.
Batman gave up on us. The Bat's not coming back.
Something's up. Eyes everywhere.
Hello, said Alice. Shall we believe the crows will protect us?
Agent Morton, copy. Do you copy?
Sophie's missing. I thought you should know.
Hey, Dad.
We're gonna find him.
Then let me help.
Bad idea. Where'd you get this? What happened to staying out of it?
Is there something you'd like to report to your squad?
Ran into that proper backup.
I do not want her getting in the way. Curiouser and curiouser. What do you want?
I need you to send your father a message.
You're all I have left, Kate. And I don't want to lose you too.
Wayne Security. You owe my boss a new door.
Your boss is my cousin.
You don't want to go any of that. You were seriously not supposed to know what's down there.
So I have to sing with roles. I need you to fix his suit.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman.
You're a female Bruce Wayne.
Awesome. Hilarious. Handsome.
It's a good line.
They think I'm him. I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
Like it looks fine. Like everything about it looks proficient as all hell. There's some good lines in there.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected.
Right.
But then again, I don't know what to expect.
Right. Exactly.
Being a fan of this whole Greg Berlanti himself, like putting all these different superheroes on television,
Yeah.
you know, and pulling it off. Like, I mean, I don't see why this couldn't work or could not work.
Right.
I'm excited, but not like over the top excited.
It's a little too dry. Like, her delivery's a little too monotone. Maybe that's the right term. I'm not sure, but it definitely is a little dry. But
I like
it looks good.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like I like the way they make the city look. Like the aesthetics is very Gotham.
Yeah, for sure.
And that one shot where she's on the motorcycle driving up to the Wayne Towers just looks just kind of like that part in The Dark Knight with Christian Bale, kind of like that scene where they were kind of facing off with each other. I don't know if you remember that scene. I don't know, that kind of just reminded me.
It's got a great look for sure.
But I'm gonna watch it just because of it's gonna all connect. So
right,
I have to
so you
watch
have
it.
to watch it. It's similar to the Marvel stuff. Like, I better watch it since they're all doing the same thing. I don't know.
Broken Wolf. That's a good point. I forgot. Arrow is ending after season 8, so they need another hand-to-hand detective-style hero to fill in the gap, which is absolutely true. I forgot Arrow is ending. So Batwoman is being introduced at the right time. Yeah, makes sense.
And you said Batwoman already made an appearance on Arrow?
Yeah.
And it worked?
Was it Arrow? Or Flash? Yeah, it was Arrow.
And it worked?
Oh, yeah, it worked well.
Okay.
Yeah. Her introduction to the whole verse was really good.
Okay. I have a hard time picturing her with... I only watched The Flash and then Legends of Tomorrow, so I have a hard time picturing her in those worlds.
Okay.
Yeah, are those a little more whimsical than Arrow? Because Arrow is very...
Arrow's more dark and Batman-y.
Broody.
Yeah.
I could be dark and brooding. Ooh, a rainbow.
But yeah, I'm going to watch this, of course. And I got to catch up on the shows, too, because I'm behind on Flash and Arrow.
So... it's not like hidden news or anything like that, because like we've talked about it here before. But James, did you know that Rick had alarms set up with his smart lights to change the color of the TV shows?
You did tell me that last week, and I thought that was the most badass thing ever.
It is. It totally is.
Yeah, that was
and I want to do that with because my house is littered with those hue lights.
Yeah.
So I really want to do that. I'm gonna go like fucking crazy.
I can show you the recipe for that.
All right, it was too funny because like Rick, like when he set it up, he's like, "Mike, watch this. This is what happens when it's time to watch Arrow." And it's like it's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Did either one of you ever watch The Defenders on Netflix?
Yes.
No.
They did a lighting thing, and I don't know if you noticed, but anytime any of the characters were on the scene, the color of those characters was the lighting of the scene. And so when they were all together, you had a scene with like 4 different colors.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And so that's what I pictured in my head.
That's funny that he mentioned that to you last week. That's hilarious. Here I thought I was breaking news. That's funny.
Another trailer for a new CW show.
Okay.
Nancy Drew, the original detective.
Yeah.
Which
Did you read any of those books when you were a kid?
No, but my sister loved them.
Okay.
Yeah, she loved the Nancy Drew books.
I actually read a little bit of both Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys as a kid.
The Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I tried.
I agree, Broken Wolf. Defenders is very much overrated.
Underrated, you said.
Or underrated. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I meant, because I loved it. I loved it.
I'll have to watch that.
And I'm really sad we're not going to get another, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Horseshoe Bay's most infamous sea queen wore her crown for only one night. People say she still haunts our town. don't believe in ghosts. I believe in looking for the truth.
Drew, clam chowder, table 8.
Mysteries are everywhere, and I love solving them. But then life dropped a real mystery into my lap.
So what do you five have to say?
I'm looking at town screw-up, ex-con, city girl, and Nancy Drew.
Why does he say your name like that?
She used to complicate my job.
You mean do it for you? A socialite killed on parade night. We have to solve this case fast.
In a case like this, you have to look to the husband.
You think that guy killed his wife and you break into his house?
What were you doing there? Following me?
Help me. Please. No. Tiffany Hudson, murdered by a ghost.
Not just any ghost. Dead Lucy.
It's definitely her. Except definitely not.
Never had a murder pinned on it.
Like us.
I can't believe I missed the signs. The truth is, we all have secrets. Everyone's a suspect. I had so many questions.
Trying to prove her innocence is gonna end up making her guilty.
Ooh. That's very interesting.
Wow,
That could be fun.
Yeah. Here's the problem with trailers for television shows. You have to make a decision when you put one together. Do we focus on the overarching plot? Do we show you like trailer for one episode? Do we just try to grab the vibe? And I think a lot of television show trailers struggle because they try to do all three of those things. And I think that's the problem with both the Batwoman trailer and this trailer, is that they're trying to get you, here's a little bit about the characters, here's a little bit about the world, here's a little bit about a story that we're going to be following. It's just, give me one of those things. Show me one of those things really well. And that's like, to me, that's really the only problem with the trailer. And I think that's why I was kind of like, on the fence with Batwoman, is because it didn't look bad at all. It just, there was a lot there to take in, and none of it really meant anything.
Yeah.
And I think the Nancy Drew trailer is very similar. There's a lot to take in, and none of it really means anything yet because we haven't watched the show yet. It's a lot easier to do trailers for movies because you have one story, one world, and their main characters to show you. You don't have to show me a little bit of everything.
I think with the Nancy Drew trailer, they did a better job than the Batwoman trailer.
Yes.
Because I feel like with this Nancy Drew show, it looks like it's going to be one overarching story through the season, throughout the season with the murder and stuff like, and ghosts apparently.
Dare I say, a very Buffy vibe.
And like that last few seconds, like, wait, is this going to be kind of supernatural too?
But if it follows, like if it's based on Nancy Drew, like I think, like all of her books were kind of like Scooby-Doo, right? It was all ghost stories, but it always ended up being real people.
I think for the most part, at least the stuff I didn't do a lot of reading as a kid, but I did read a couple of those books and a couple of the Hardy Boys books. And that's like, it literally is, who's under this mask at some point.
Okay. Oh, that's really even more
So I'm
interesting.
curious which route they're going to go.
Right. Is it going to be
either
actual
could work.
supernatural, or is it going to be the fool you into thinking it's supernatural? Which, either way. once they unveil that at the end of that first season, that's where they're going to have problems with the second season.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go full supernatural, then you're just waiting for the twist, the whodunit at the end of the next season.
Yeah.
So you got to really walk a fine line with that stuff and how you want to do it.
I'd to go with the supernatural stuff.
I kind of like the idea of fucking, that was Mr. Withers from the old amusement park.
I like that too.
And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids. I think that could be fun. It could definitely be fun.
But I'm intrigued. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be watching it.
Hopefully I'll check it out. I always say that with TV shows, and then I never watch TV shows. But I did watch a TV show. I watched the entire run of a television show in the time I've been gone, Rick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's only one season. It was only 10 episodes. But I watched the whole fucking thing. I watched Everything Sucks. And man, that's a good ass show. The two lead kids are out of this world amazing in that show.
Yeah.
The music, it's funny, I've been saying this about a lot of stuff I've been watching lately. The music and the use of music was so good. So good, man. And like all the little, like all the nostalgia stuff that is in it is good because it's not necessarily like we're totally hanging everything on this being a 90s show. Like, that's not how it felt. It didn't feel that way. There was like, oh yeah, that's the time period they're in. Oh yeah, okay, VHS. Oh yeah, Oasis. Okay. And like this story could have taken place in any time period. It's relevant now. Mm-hmm. It'll be relevant 20 years from now. It is relevant 20 years before it's supposed to take place. It's a really, really awesome story about kids trying to figure out who they are in one way or another. And the only kid that I didn't like out of the gate was the short friend with the curly hair. I can't remember his name. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do know what you're talking about, yeah.
He was the protege of the Leonardo DiCaprio, rather strong-looking kid that left halfway through the series anyway. Anyway, it is a really, really fun watch. And even though that it's not going to have a second season and it got canceled or whatever, I really hope that the creators of this show try and take it somewhere and try and get it somewhere else and continue the story because I really liked all the kids. I liked all the characters. I liked all the different plots and subplots of the show because it was one of those things where, yeah, it focused specifically on one kid and his story, but it also did that kid? Yeah, that kid.
Tyler.
Yeah. He grew on me big time because I realized the character he's playing. But yeah, it's a great ensemble cast, man, and it's a great collection of stories that all intertwine. And I feel like I said this similar stuff about Sex Education, where it obviously focuses on 2 people or 3 people, but they do a great job of making you feel like every character they introduce to you is a main character.
Yeah, it's important,
and important to the show. And I hope it does something, man, because it was the way they leave it, man. It's like, yeah, the second season would have been amazing. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to get that out there. Also, Bryce isn't here. But Rick, you were right.
Right?
You were right. The camera work is so distracting.
Yes.
So distracting.
That's why I kept telling you, just wait. And then you get to like this, I think it was like the 6th or 7th episode where you get nothing but all these giant crash zooms and it's so distracting.
It's not even that it's a crash zoom. It's like it almost feels like the way The Office is shot. It's like a crash zoom that's off, and I'm like, oh yeah.
And then it corrects itself.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's distracting, for sure. For the most part, though, they only use that in comedic ways, in comedic situations. When the dramatic stuff is happening, and which is pulled off really well by the actors and actresses in this show, they totally don't do any of that stupid stuff. It's only used like for comedic purposes. but it is super distracting when it happens because it'll come off of something that was super dramatic and real, and then it's like, well, here's a funny scene, and that's cool that you're, bringing in the comedy to break the drama, but then it's like, ooh, oh shit, we're off just a little bit. It was super distracting. It was super distracting. It's not so. And now you didn't mean it this way, but you didn't mean it was make or break on the show.
Oh, no.
Because it's not. It's not make or break.
It's all about the content.
But it's super distracting.
Yeah.
But that music, man, like...
Fucking soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah, that and the soundtrack for Sex Education was amazing also. And yeah, I wish... I'm going to have to look up like a full listing and make my own playlist in Amazon Music of those because their playlist stuff is pretty bad on Amazon Music. I bet there's playlists for both of those shows on Spotify. I just haven't looked, and I'm not a Spotify subscriber. So, but yeah, I watched that, and the next thing I'm gonna watch is Atypical. Is that what it is? Yeah, I really like Michael Rappaport, and I just found out recently that he was in it. As like 2 days ago, I found out he was on that show.
I told you before.
I'm sure you did, but it just in one and out the other, or slipped my mind, or whatever.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably start watching that. Is that
that's 30 minutes?
It's 30 minutes also.
Oh.
Okay, cool. And that has multiple seasons.
3. They're filming season 3 now.
Oh shit. Okay, cool. It's something to watch.
So expect another one.
So yeah, before now that I got that out, I just want to talk about that, and yeah, let's move on to video games, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
We got some video games news. Which one are we starting with?
The whatever the top one is. Okay, this is quick. We're almost at the end of the month. If you have PlayStation Plus, please go out there and download the free game for one of the free games for this month. Both actually. What Remains of Edith Finch is an awesome story, but the game that I'm here to talk about is Overcooked, and it is so amazing. It is some of the most fun I've had playing a game with other people. We've been playing it a lot recently. Before it was the free game of the month here for Plus, we've been playing it at Robert's house with Robert and Annie. So it's like Robert and Annie and me and my wife, or my kids are playing, and with any collection of the two adults. And it's one of those games that you really, really find out how good of a relationship you have with somebody.
Oh wow!
Because there's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of, why did you do that? There's a, get out of my way. It's so Cook Serve Delicious is basically anything like Tapper back in the day, where you had to where you were sliding beer down a bar to guests before Cook Serve Delicious that Bryce loves, or Cooking Mama on the Wii. It's basically that, but it's a top-down view, and there's 2 players on the screen at one time. If you play by yourself, you switch between the 2. But you can have up to 4 people playing at a time, and you make food, and you have to get it out. You don't have to get out in order, but you got to get it out before it disappears, or you get docked points and money and stuff like that. And it really is one of those things where we were playing a lot at Robert's house, and we really got into it. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to go out and buy this game. And then a week later, it's like, oh, it's coming to PlayStation Plus for free. And I was like, yes. So we got it, and now, oh god, my kids don't know I have it. So it's just been me and my wife that have been playing it. We play it when they go to bed. I don't want them to know we have it, because they're just going to ask to play it. And they suck at it. So my wife and I have been playing, and there's 2 ways this game goes. It's either you guys are yelling at each other to do it right, or you play like the way my wife and I play, where it's dead fucking silent and you can hear a pin drop. And all you get from the other person is this. So it's one of those, it tests relationships, whether they be romantic or friendship or parental. It definitely pushes those relationships, and you get to really see how in tune you are with someone. So if you have PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation Plus account, go download Overcooked. It's super fun. And yeah, it's good relationship therapy too. It definitely
I'll have
is.
to download that one then before it's too late.
So that was it. I just wanted to mention that game. That's why I brought it up, because it's quick and it's almost the end of May. and I think it's worth downloading, especially since it's free, man. Like, what do you have to lose? So there was a Nintendo Direct this week talking about Super Mario Maker 2. Did you watch this yet, Rick, or no? Okay, well, it's long, so we won't watch it.
Okay.
We'll go over some of the highlights here. I am a person that is not 100% sold on purchasing this game. I think I loved playing the first one when we played it with Bryce's Wii U at his house. I love watching people make levels. I love watching people play this game. But I was like, this is gonna be a $60 game because Nintendo. Is there gonna be stuff in there that to me will justify, price of admission, so to speak? They've added so many things to where I feel like I will probably end up buying this game out of the gate. Not because I want to create levels or necessarily because I want to play anybody's created levels, but because they have a story mode built in to it this time, which is basically going to be like a tutorial of how to play the game, which is really cool because the story is you have to rebuild Peach's castle. And so I feel like the story mode is not only going to be you playing the game, but it's going to be you creating in the game to solve problems, which I think is cool. If that's the way they go with it, that's really awesome. So you get people familiar with the controls and the systems. Slopes is a big deal, apparently. There wasn't slopes in the first one. Yeah. The other thing was they announced a new style, which is 3D World, which was the Wii U game, which doesn't look very different. The thing about 3D World on the Wii U was it wasn't a side scroller. It was sort of like isometric, kind of top down a little bit, where you could go into the levels as well as sideways and stuff like that.
Is that the N64 version?
No, that was the Wii U game.
Oh, the Wii U game. Oh, right. Okay.
With the cat suit.
Yeah.
With the cat suit.
I remember that.
So they announced that as being a style you can use, which I think is pretty cool, depending on how they use it. I hope it's just not like a palette swap for art. I hope they actually use those mechanics. Because they did say there's stuff that you can do in the 3D World art style that you cannot do in the other ones. So that means they're going to have specific gameplay elements in that, which I think is cool. I watched a lot of this game being streamed by Giant Bomb and Patrick Klepek and Dan Reichert creating levels and trying to beat created levels, and it's super fun to watch. But I was still on the fence about, I don't know if I want to play that. As fun as it is to play those levels, I just don't know if I want to spend $60 to play that. There's full-on co-op like New Super Mario Brothers. So there's 4 people playing. There's stuff where it's competitive co-op, if you will, where you have to work together to do things, but at the same time you can screw over people.
Competitive co-op.
Yeah. Just like New Super Mario Brothers, to where you're all playing together, but I want to finish first because I get more points if I finish first. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. And James, does this interest you?
Very much so. I love the first one, and my favorite kind of games are building games.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to build the shit out of this.
Awesome. Okay, then we're going to have to be friends on Switch so I can play your levels. But yeah, Rick, you really enjoyed playing the first one with Bryce.
Yeah,
right?
It was fun where I built a level and then he did, and we tried to beat our own.
Yeah.
Which is that kind of like how competitive co-op mode is, or is it a little different?
No.
Or you play at the same time?
Well, you can both build at the same time, which I think is really cool, but you're both playing a level at the same time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I had fun building stuff that was either hard or like things that were just tedious, just to piss Bryce off. So like, as soon as I heard that this was coming out, or announced, like, I'm day one buying this.
Yeah. And it looks so nice. The only thing that's going to be weird is it's definitely going to be one of those games where I'm like, oh, let me take it off the dock. Let me make my level. Let me put it back on the dock and play my level. You know?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
But, I mean, there'll be controls to where you can build it without having to take it off the dock, obviously. But I feel like it would be more intuitive to grab a capacitive touch stylus and make your own levels.
Underwater castle.
Oh,
airship.
yeah. So now you can add logic to things. So you can draw the pathing for the
I just
platforms.
saw it,
You can decide how you want the water or the lava to rise and fall on the level. The thing that I hope they do is they really haven't said, and they're going to blow it out more in a couple of weeks at E3, so I hope this gets brought up. James, I think you'll be with me on this. I want to be able to create 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4, and have you go through all 4 in one go.
Oh, that would be fun.
You know what I mean? Like it's all any game where you can make stuff. Like the thing is, well, can I make 1-1? Can I make original Super Mario Brothers 1-1? I would love to be able to recreate 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4, and do that. Oh yeah.
Oh, the angry song.
Yep. Yeah.
Fucking hate that song.
Yeah.
So I really hope they add a way to connect levels, so you can go from one to the next to the next to the next. And if you want to just keep it to 4 because that was like the model, then just keep it 4. It doesn't have to be more than that. I don't want to create 37 levels that all go together, but I think it would be really awesome to be able to do that, because that was a thing that I thought would have been cool out of the gate in the first game. It was like, inevitably, somebody's going to create World 1 Stage 1 from Super Mario Brothers. And it's going to happen. It's probably going to be the first thing you see online when you look for a level. Now, I want to be able to play all 4 of World 1. And hopefully they do something like that. Yeah, it looks really cool, man.
It looks really cool.
I am excited about this more so than I thought I would be. And yeah, I don't know if I'll get it day one, but it's definitely a game I'm going to get. And this might be one I get on cartridge and not downloadable.
Really?
Just because I know my son's going to want to play it.
Oh.
And I don't want to buy 2 copies of it digitally. So I might have to get the cartridge on this one. Which, yeah, that's going to be a whole thing that I'm going to have to deal with. And I know I can make
the ship level.
Oh, and you can control the way they rise and fall and move also. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff that they've added to this game that definitely I think justifies it being called Mario Maker 2 and will justify that full $60 retail price. But yeah, man, I walked away or put my phone down after watching the Direct a lot more excited for this than I thought I would be. But yeah, I know Bryce is going to be way in. That looked cool the way the elevator split up like that. Yeah, I know Bryce is going to be all about this too, so we could have all 4 of us
competitions
making levels to drive the other insane. But yeah, if you haven't watched any of the streams that Patrick Klepek did of levels that Dan Reichert made, go look them up. If Rick makes this a clip, I will throw the links to those videos in the show notes, because Dan Reichert made the most diabolical fucking levels that were just ridiculous. And if it's like one of those things, like if you didn't watch him make it, there's no way you're going to be able to beat it. But it was one of those things where the challenge was Patrick Klepek could not watch him build the levels. He had to be able to beat it on his own. And he beat all of them except one. And they ended up raising a lot of money for charity.
Oh, very cool.
Which I thought was really cool that they did that. Yeah, they raised a shitload of money for charity. Something like $6,000.
Oh, nice.
Because people were allowed to donate, but they had a bet going between the two. Like, if I can beat this, you have to donate this much money to a charity. But if I can't beat it, I'll donate this much money to whatever other charity.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really, really cool. But yeah, that's that. I'm way more excited than I thought I would be, like I said. The last story, really,
is hell froze over?
Sort of. It's a cool fucking clickbaity headline. Because Microsoft and Sony entered in a partnership to further their cloud streaming technologies together. Now, this isn't Xbox and PlayStation coming together.
Right.
This is Microsoft
and
Sony. So the crazy thing is, Sony was the first video game company to buy a streaming service. They bought the Japanese streaming service Gaikai probably 5 or 6 years ago. And might have been longer, actually. So they've had a front end, but they just have not figured out the server structure, and which is weird. Microsoft has the infrastructure with their Microsoft Cloud stuff, but they don't have a good front end. So it's kind of crazy. Like these two companies are going to come together and bring the tech from Microsoft and the UI and tech from Sony, and they're going to mash them together. And it's very interesting to see what this means for the Xbox, whatever the new Xbox is, and whatever the new PlayStation is. Microsoft has already said their patents have leaked about them going after a streaming market. And I really feel like this is them joining together to offset what Google Stadia may be. Because that's their streaming video game service. Yeah. And I expect we will get a lot of information in a couple of weeks about Google Stadia. Hopefully we get some pricing and structure and whether it's going to be subscription or if I'm going to buy games outright, which I don't want to buy games outright if it's a streaming service where you could just take the game away. And we've talked about it before with streaming services, especially Google. Google will not hesitate to just shut some shit down and you're done. And I don't think Microsoft has done the same thing recently with their ebook stuff. Like, no, gone. Sony, however, has been a little bit more apt to keep their streaming services going or keep their services going because I think they're not a bigger company than a Google or a Microsoft, but they definitely have their hands on a lot of different pies that will, if one service is like, no, we're not doing this anymore, goodbye, I think it would affect the whole bottom line. Whereas Microsoft definitely has other avenues to where if one thing tanks, they have way more things to counteract that. And I think Google's the same way. When they just shut something down, it doesn't matter because they have way more sources of revenue. Yeah. But I think Sony's, all of their sources of revenue are linked. Like, you want to sell TVs, but you got to sell Blu-rays and you got to sell players and you got to sell PlayStations to use on those things. Like, it's definitely something that's a little bit more entwined than the other companies. So they have a lot more to lose if they shut things down. But I'm really excited to see if we get any information at E3 about this, or if this really is a way for them to go on the offensive against Google, or why this is happening.
That's odd to hear, man.
Yeah.
But at least both companies realize that they can improve on technology.
Yeah.
Improve on, specifically for this type of industry.
Streaming service. Yeah.
So I think that's good to combine those two, especially.
It's so weird.
It's weird to say out loud.
Yeah. This is not an end to the console war that's going on right now. This is not an end to that. They're not going to just make one console where everything's going to be playable. You just don't hear
about two companies helping each other out. That's just the odd. Right. That's the odd part about it.
And the last time we heard something like this was just recently with Microsoft and Nintendo coming together.
Yeah.
And helping each other out in places.
With logging in, right?
Yeah, for Minecraft.
For Minecraft, yeah.
And there's also rumors that Microsoft is going to announce that they're going to have a lot more services coming to the Switch within the end of the year, which would be insane. They brought Cuphead, which was a Microsoft published game, Microsoft Game Studios game. You're only going to get this on Microsoft. Hey, you're going to get it on Switch now too. And it's one of those things where I was like, boom, my head has exploded.
It was a big deal.
And the only reason any of this is happening with Microsoft is because they're in the position they're in when it comes to their games division. They're not failing whatsoever. But they're seen as a distant second to Sony. And Nintendo is off doing its own thing, so it's also seen as inferior to Nintendo at this point. And if none of this would be happening if the roles were reversed and Microsoft was nearing 100 million Xboxes sold and Sony was only nearing 60 million. They would not be going, yeah, we'll work with you, Nintendo. Yeah, we'll come together with you, Sony, for this cloud. They wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be. And I think it's cool that even though they're in the, third position, so to speak, that not only are they willing to make these overtures towards these companies, but that these companies are not dumb enough to say, get the fuck out of here. They're smart enough to say, okay, bring your users to our console. Okay, bring us your technology so we can make it all better for everybody involved. I think they're
thinking about the consumer.
I think it's really smart.
Yeah.
And it was super strange to see that headline the other day. And I was like, what? That's so weird.
Yeah.
And then, because inevitably, at this point, if you see Sony and Microsoft, you don't think them as major tech companies anymore. You think of them as Xbox and PlayStation because of how, like I said, 60 million Xbox consoles is nothing to fucking sneeze at. It's doing better month to month than the Xbox 360 did, which was their runaway success console. But they're still seen as a failure because they're not beating Sony. And yeah, Sony's closing in on 100 million consoles, dude, for PlayStation 4. 100 million. It's insane. Because you got to remember that before these consoles came out, everybody was talking about the death of console gaming and nobody wants new consoles. That's true. And they hung that on the hat of the Wii U doing so poorly. They were saying it before the Wii U came out, like there's no people don't want new consoles. And we were just coming out of that economic fucking hellhole we were in. So there was no reason for people to be buying new consoles because they weren't having money to buy the new consoles. And the Wii U fucking tanked. And everyone was like, yep, that's it. It's the end of console gaming. And then here we are, nearing 200 million units combined for Xbox and PlayStation. Like, there's no... If you have a product worth buying, people will buy it. And, in that last cycle, Nintendo didn't have a product worth buying. But they do now. And Sony and Microsoft do as well. And, gaming is, at an all-time high right now, both within its community and mainstream-wise. So, I think this is good for everybody. It's going to make a lot of money for both of those companies. And hopefully, end users like us will see an uptick in the technology. Yeah, that's it for gaming, really. James, Rick told me that you got Saints Row for Switch.
Yes.
Have you played any of it?
I have. I've only played a couple hours,
okay.
So I'm not deep into it. I don't play for long periods of time.
Right.
But I'm loving it. It's fun.
It's so much fun, huh?
The aiming's hard, but I have a hard time with manual aim because I'm lame. But it's I'm liking it.
Mm-hmm. As you get deeper into that game and with the upgrades, aiming becomes non-existent. You don't even need it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's like second nature.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It's that as you upgrade, you get better weapons, and then you get unlimited ammo, and then you don't have to.
You don't have to worry about ammo, basically.
Yeah. So when I started playing this game again, I started playing it the way I played it at the end of the first time I played it. So I was just like, oh shit, I'm out of ammo. No. But yeah, so as you get deeper in, it's super fun. I really enjoy the story too.
So far it's pretty good.
It's funny. There's a character who keep in mind, it's come out in 2011, I think, originally. There's a character who speaks through auto-tune only later in the game.
That's right, yeah.
It's really, really good, man. And
forgot.
I kind of hope they bring 4 to the Switch also, because even though that 4 is not as good story-wise as 3, it actually is better mechanically than 3. And it's super fun. And yeah, I'm glad you're digging it, man.
Yeah.
Because I started playing it and I was like, oh no. Oh, I hope James likes this. Because I didn't dislike what I was playing. But again, like I said, I was used to playing it the way I played it at the end of the playthrough and not the way you have to play it at the beginning of the playthrough. Which was definitely weird to have to go back to not having ammo and only having 2 weapons and having to earn money to buy weapons and all that. So yeah, I'm glad you're digging it, man. And it's very...
Yeah. Thanks for the recommendation.
It's very digestible in a bite-sized way. You can play a mission, save and quit, and be good. You don't have to sit there for hours and hours. You can totally get lost and do that. And I have a suspicion that by the end of the game, you'll find yourself playing in longer and longer chunks. But yeah, it's way easy to play it in small chunks for sure. Did you get anything new? No?
No, like I said, I've just been playing Pokemon again. I haven't played. I picked up Pokemon Go too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah, that Minecraft Earth thing.
Yeah.
They're doing a weird augmented reality game. That Harry Potter one is supposed to be coming out soon. That's Ghostbusters one is out. Like the augmented reality thing is kind of a big deal, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
But no, I think Ghostbusters would have been the closest to be able to capture lightning in a bottle like Pokemon Go did, but I don't know, man. I don't think this Minecraft thing seems interesting.
That was super cool.
Yeah, I just don't. Not that I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to penetrate and hit the mainstream like Pokemon Go did. And I think if it does, it'll do it for like a week.
Well, I don't think it'll get where Pokemon Go is, but Minecraft is the biggest game in the world.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, this will be a success regardless.
Yeah.
But just the idea of creating something and you can overlay and like turn your house into something else.
Right.
That's just
and it be there for other people to see. Yeah. It's really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is cool.
It stays there and only you can remove it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
holy shit, I might end up thinking of Minecraft.
The thing I think is really cool is that, Pokemon Go was built off of Ingress, which was a geocaching, game to begin with. So it had all these built-in things. This isn't built on that. This is built on its own thing. And like the whole idea of like, the sidewalk in front of your house becoming a dungeon to go through, I think is really fucking cool. But all that stuff is going to have to be randomly generated like it is in the game. It's not going to be something that's there all the time. It's going to be like the randomly generated thing. I think that's super cool. I'll probably end up trying it out with my son because my son's super into Minecraft, as I've talked about on this show before. I had to break it to him the other day that Minecraft is older than he is, and he didn't believe me. But yeah, I have a lot of fun playing Minecraft on Switch with my son. So I'm sure we'll probably have a lot of fun with this too. We have a nice, huge park right around the corner from our house that has got a lot of wide open spaces. So I think it'll be fun to play there. It's also a county park, so I don't know if they're going to be using any kind of geolocation stuff for it at all. But, the library on the corner of the park was a gym for Pokemon Go, and
I thought an influx of people.
yeah, and it really did get more people coming out to the park during all hours of the day. We went to go out for Rick's birthday one year, and we were coming home, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and it was the year that Pokemon Go came out. And Rick's birthday is in the summertime, so it was like less than a month after this game had come out. And I shit you not, man, 11 o'clock at night, there was like 50 people at the park.
Yeah, I remember you vlogged me telling me about everyone that was out there still.
Hanging out, not being antisocial, talking to each other. It's one of those things, like, I really appreciate Pokemon Go for that it brought people together. Because there are a lot of things in this world that people are into, a wide variety of people are into, but they don't really nurture the whole socializing aspect of it. Like, I talked about, Carly Rae Jepsen's new album earlier. There could be 1,000 people that love that album, and I could be in the same proximity as them. But its music is inherently a very personal thing. For me, anyway, it's a very personal thing. And, you go to a concert, and you find people that are there for the same reason. It's easier to talk to people that are there because you obviously like something that's all the same. But I really feel like Pokemon Go did that, like, in a massive way. Because I saw people socializing and laughing and talking together at 11:30 at night at a park that you would not see anywhere else with anything else. And I thought it was really cool the way it brought people together and got people out and doing something. And I hope this Minecraft thing, if it gets half as big as Pokemon Go, it's a win. For sure.
Yeah.
And Minecraft being, the most successful video game franchise there is, which is so weird to say.
Yeah.
Because again, it is only 10 years old at this point, and it really is the best-selling video game of all time, and with the most concurrent users. And I play once or twice a week with my son, so I'm part of it also. And yeah, I'm really excited to see where that goes, for sure.
Cool. Is that a joke?
Yeah.
Okay. Want to take us home?
No. Yeah, I'll do it. All right, this has been another episode of Some Shit We Like. And if you caught us late or would like to see more, you can go to our YouTube page where we put up clips Tuesday through Thursday and the full show on Friday. If you want to hear just all audio, check any podcast service you might use and search SSWL Network, and it'll pop up. And that goes up on Tuesdays. And yeah.
And until next time.
James.
This is some shit we like.
Yeah, there we go.